A very good evening to all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, I thought of coming back to Flamingo, one more lesson. Then we will go to Vistas. Okay. So let us come to the lesson, simple lesson, but only very important. A simple lesson, but very important. Page number 46. Indigo. Indigo. Indigo, indigo is a plant from which dye is made. It's a kind of crop. It is a story about Mahatma Gandhi and his freedom struggle. The story tells us through the words of Louis Fisher how the common people, how the poor people came into the stream of freedom fight, attracted by Mahatma Gandhi. There were a group of people who only heard about Gandhi, but they never had a particular clear knowledge, or they have not yet seen him. Still, they heard there is a man by name Gandhi who is struggling for the freedom of the poor people. With this flash news, the poor people or a poor man going in search of him, and with his compulsion, he brought Mahatma Gandhi into the place where a fight started. How is it and what kind of fight we will see in the lesson. Okay, very simple, you can understand. Louis Fisher, who was born in Philadelphia. He served as a volunteer in the British Army between 1918 and 1920. Fisher made a career as a journalist and wrote for the New York Times, the Saturday Review, and for European and Asian publications. He was also a member of the faculty at Princeton University. The following is an excerpt from his book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. So he has written a biography about Mahatma Gandhi, the life of Mahatma Gandhi. And from that, one incident is taken from. One incident is taken. The book has been reviewed as one of the best books ever written on Mahatma Gandhi by National Educational Supplement. So the book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi, written by Louis Fisher, was considered as one of the best written biographies about Mahatma Gandhi. So from that, we are going to learn an incident, an event which was about the indigo croppers. Okay, really, you have studied a lot about Mahatma Gandhi or freedom fight in history. So it may be refreshing reading. I think I can go with a very fast because you know it, and it is easy to. There is no much in this much that kind of connotation. It is not that kind of literature where we have to go for connotation and denotation. So here it is a direct history, biography. So we have to understand plain. It's a plain truth. When I first visited Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India, he said, I will tell you how it happened that I decided to urge the British, to urge the departure of the British. It was in 1917. So the story happened in 1917. What is the importance of 1917 in the world history? Anybody remembers? First World War broke out in 1914 to 1918. First World War time. So I will tell you how it happened that I decided to urge the departure of the British, urge, request strongly, demand strongly. It was in 1917. He had gone to the December 1916 annual convention of the INC, Indian National Congress, in Lucknow. So in the year 1916, in the month of December, Gandhi went to Lucknow to participate in the annual meeting of Indian National Congress. Before independence, there was only one Congress party in India, that was Indian National Congress, INC. There were 2,301 delegates and many visitors. Delegates means representatives. There is no need of much explanations, only delegates, representatives, and many visitors. During the proceedings, of the meeting, Gandhi recollected. A peasant came up to me looking like any other peasant in India, poor and emaciated, emaciated, weak, weak and hungry, or a slave of poverty, slave of poverty, and said, I am Raj Kumar Shukla, underline. I am Raj Kumar Shukla. I am from Champaran, underline Champaran. And I want you to come to my district. Gandhi had never heard of the place, underline. Gandhi had never heard of the place. It was in the foothills of the towering Himalayas, high Himalayas, near the kingdom of Nepal. So see, Louis Fisher came to Gandhi and asked about his freedom fight. Louis Fisher was planning to write biography of Gandhi. So he wanted to collect data. So he went to Gandhi for an interview and asked. At that time, it was a time of INC, Indian National Congress meeting. So Gandhi recounted or recollected and said there was an incident. A man by name Rajkumar Shukla, a poor, downtrodden, caught up with poverty, came to me and asked me, Gandhi, please come to our district. He was inviting Gandhi to his district. And the name of his district was Champaran. Champaran was in the border of India near Nepal. This much you know. Under an ancient, now we are entering into the topic. Under an ancient arrangement, agreement, the Champaran peasants, Champaran farmers were sharecroppers. That particular term, sharecroppers, farmers who share the profit with somebody else. Sharecroppers. Even now, we can see sharecroppers even now even in Kerala. The people, the farmers who had no their own land, they may get the land from another landowner for a lease, Lease, for a lease. The lease may be for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, like the long term. And there they make an agreement. They make an agreement. Sometimes some make the agreement, you use my land, crop 50-50. Or they make you take 80% and give me 20% every time. Whatever may be there, an agreement is made. So Champaran farmers had an agreement. They are sharecroppers. Rajkumar Shukla was one of them. He was a farmer. He was a peasant. He was illiterate but resolute. Very important usage. He was illiterate but resolution. Resolute. He was not undergone formal education. He does not know reading and writing. He does not know alphabets, illiterate. One who does not know to read and write. That's the meaning, illiterate. One who does not know reading and writing. What is the difference between illiterate and ignorant? And let me ask, who can say what is the difference between illiterate and ignorant? Can anyone say? What is the difference between these words? Illiterate means does not know read and write. Ignorant means not know anything. Ignorant. Who does not know anything. In this meaning, will there be any ignorant in this world who does not know anything? Tell me. Will there be any person without any knowledge, ignorant? Will be there? Or will be there illiterate in this world? Tell me, tell me. Can anyone say? Hey,
Illiterate.
open the mouth. Punya, tell me. Let there be mistake, no problem.
Illiterate.
I can't hear you. You check your mic.
Illiterate.
I cannot hear. Anybody else? You see, illiterate means this difference you have to see. Illiterate means he knows many things, but he does not know to write, to read. He knows. Now heavy rain is coming. Here heavy rain is coming, fully clouded, thunder is heard. I do not know whether I will be able to continue the class after some time. I know many things now, but I don't know to write my name. I don't know ABC. I did not go to school. I don't know to write. I said that is sky. I don't know how to write. And you wrote sky. I don't know to read. Illiterate, who does not know to read and write, but he has knowledge. Clear now? What is ignorant? Ignorant means who does not have a single percent knowledge. When I say strongly like this, you think that there will be no ignorant people in this world. But the same person says there will be ignorant people in this world a lot. He is ignorant of a particular subject. Subject. Clear now? He knows 99 subjects, but he does not know anything about one subject. He is ignorant of that subject. Clear now? This is the difference. That is why I tell you, you should not say the word I don't know. You should not say I don't know. You know. Clear now? That is why in many classes I told, don't say that I don't know. This is the reason. You should understand the meaning of this illiterate and ignorant. You might have written these words 100 times, Aishwarya. You might have used these two words 100 times. But you are not getting the confidence, the meaning, difference between the meaning. Then why did you use it? I am not asking particularly, not to you, to all. Clear? We were using it. We were using it. These are the depth of meaning. These are the differences in understanding. Okay. So here we say Rajkumar Shukla was one of them, illiterate. He did not go to Anganwadi. He did not go to LKG. He did not go to UKG. So he cannot write and read. But he knows many things. He knows now black clouds are there, thunder is there. He says, rain will not be here, rain will be there. If Rajkumar Shukla comes to Kerala, Mala now, he would say, Joshi sir, yeah, this rain will not be here. It will rain there in Ashtamitra only, not in Mala. He would say sometimes. He has knowledge. Such kind of man was. He was illiterate. Here another word is there. Resolute. Resolute. What is the meaning of resolute? Resolute is coming from resolution. Firmly, one who has a decision power. Decision power. He decides one and he sticks on that. He sticks on that. He has a determined mind. And man with a determination. A man with the determination. That means The illiterate Rajkumar Shukla came to Lucknow in the surroundings of Indian National Congress annual meeting, not to participate in the meeting. He was not a member of INC, general body, but he had come over there from Champaran. From Champaran to Lucknow, he come over there with a determination. Clear now? Even though he was illiterate, he came over there with a determination because he was resolute. He had come to the Congress session to complain. What was his resolute? To complain about the injustice of the landlord system in Bihar, Jamindari system. He wanted to complain about the negative sides of landlord system, landlord and the slaves. Janmi Kudian. Clear now? Jamindari system. He came there to give a report on the landlord system to the Congress people, especially to Gandhi. And somebody had probably said, speak to Gandhi. You see, underline, speak to Gandhi. So he came to Lucknow in his peasant, in his village dress with a stick. If you take the photos of UP, Bihar peasants, you will see one dhoti, one cloth over the chest like Gandhi, one stick. Like that, he came over there. So people asked him, who are you? I am Rajkumar Shukla. Where from? I am from Champaran. What do you want? I want to tell these Congress people about the landlord system of Champaran. We are suffering a lot. So people said to him, Arey bhai, you speak to Gandhi. So all the people told him, speak to Gandhi, speak to Gandhi, speak to Gandhi. He does not know who is Gandhi. Clear now? Gandhi told Shukla he had an appointment in Kanpur. That Kanpur spelling you can also rewrite, but in examination you have to write like this: Kanpur, Kanpur. So Gandhi, then he met Gandhi, and he told Gandhiji, these are the conditions, these are the problems we face. You may come to Champaran. Gandhi looked at him, an illiterate person, a farmer. He was calling Gandhi to Champaran. So Gandhi told, oh, my dear fellow, my dear friend, I have an appointment in Kanpur, so I will not be able to come now. Gandhi was a great person. He was a national leader. So he told, I have some appointments. So, and was also committed to go to other parts of India. Gandhi told, what you say, day after tomorrow, I have an appointment there in Kanpur. After that, I have to go to Kerala. Then I have to go to Mangalore. Then I have to go to Sevagram. I have many travels. So I am not free to come. Shukla accompanied him everywhere. Underline. Shukla has no influence over Gandhi. Shukla has no legal power. Shukla had no social status. Shukla had no education. Shukla had no good clothes. Shukla had no money. But Shukla had one thing: determination. I have come here to solve a problem. I will go back after solving the problem. Clear now? Resolute. So when I come here, people told, Only one person can solve your problem. That is Gandhi. Therefore, I will take Gandhi to my land. Then only I will return. But Gandhi says he is not free. So what did Shukla do? He traveled behind him. Tomorrow Gandhi is going to Kanpur. He went to Kanpur. He sit outside. When Gandhi came out of the meeting, he asked, sir, tomorrow I am going to Chennai. He went to Chennai, Madras. He went to Madras. Wherever Gandhi went, there he went. He went. He accompanied him everywhere. Then Gandhi returned to his ashram, Sevagram, to his ashram near Ahmedabad, not Sevagram. In Ahmedabad, he had his ashram. He returned to Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is in Gujarat. From Bihar, Shukla reached the other part from northeastern part. He reached the west part of India. From this travel, you can understand the meaning of the word resolute. Resolute. Clear now? Then Gandhi returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. Shukla followed him to the ashram. For weeks, he never left Gandhi's side. Weeks and weeks, weeks after weeks, he was following Gandhi. Then he changed his tone. Till that time, he was following Gandhi. Then now he made request. He began to make requests. Whenever he sees Gandhi, he says, Gandhi, मुझे भी दे दो एक तारीख, मुझे भी दे दो an appointment. Give me a date, sir. You are giving appointment to many people. You are giving appointment to Chennai, Madras. You are giving appointment to Kerala. You are giving appointment to Mangalapuram. You are giving appointment to Mumbai. You are giving appointment to Allahabad. You are giving appointment to Delhi. You are giving appointment to Kolkata. Why can't you give me an appointment? Please, please fix the date. Fix the date. He begged, impressed, you see, underline the word, impressed by the sharecroppers' tenacity. Tenacity. Who is the sharecropper here? Impressed by Rajkumar Shukla's tenacity, perseverance. Persistence. Persistence. Tenacity and story. His story, Gandhi said, I have to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. Next week, I am coming to Calcutta. I have a meeting there in Kolkata. And he said a date. Come and meet me and take me from there. So, Shukla, don't worry, I will come to your village. I am coming near to Calcutta. You come to Calcutta and you come there and take me to Champaran. Months passed. Shukla was, after many months, on the particular date, Gandhi reached Calcutta. Shukla was sitting on his haunches. The people of Bihar, people of farmers of UP, you see how do they sit with a stick? I think there is a picture. Sit with a stick. So sitting in haunches, folding the knee and sitting there. At the appointed place, at the told place, in Calcutta when Gandhi arrived. When Gandhi arrived on the so-told place, Shukla was sitting there on haunches. He waited till Gandhi was free. When Gandhi came to Calcutta, people crowded around him, besieged him. Do you remember any word like besieged? Have you studied that word? Besieged? Anywhere? Try to recollect.
Seized.
Besieged. You have studied, I taught you. Then you can think when, where. Clue in class 10. Gandhi was besieged by political party people. Can you remember? Oh, sir, 10th exam is over. Its book was given on sale, and I don't keep the books with me. If you have the book, go and turn the pages of Nelson Mandela. In the first paragraph itself, it is written there on the second or third line. He was besieged by the. Do you remember now? Do you remember? He was besieged by the presidents and the defense officials. Besieged, surrounded. Surrounded. As soon as Gandhi got down from the train, people came over there. Rajkumar Shukla sat little far away till the people leave him and Gandhi becomes free. Then the two of them boarded a train. Two of them means Gandhi and Rajkumar Shukla boarded a train for the city of Patna in Bihar. They went to Patna, Bihar. There, Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad, who later became president of the Congress Party and India. So they went to Dr. Rajendra Prasad's house. Rajendra Prasad was out of town, but the servants knew Shukla as a poor yeoman. Yeoman means a farmer. Yeoman, farmer. Farmer who pestered their master to help the Indigo sharecroppers. So the Dr. Rajendra Prasad was not there. His servants thought, they did not know Gandhi. Gandhi and Rajkumar Shukla came. So they thought two peasants might have come over there to meet Rajendra Prasad Shukla in order to present their problems. So considered them, they could not pester, to disturb. So they let him stay on the grounds with his companion. So the servants of Rajendra Prasad permitted Mahatma Gandhi and Rajkumar Shukla to stay on the grounds, not in the room, outside on the grounds. Gandhi, whom they took to be another peasant, underline, those servants considered Gandhi as a farmer. So common people were not knowing Gandhi. That is a problem. Underline that sentence. Gandhi, whom they took to be another peasant. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well, lest some drops from his bucket pollute the entire source. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? Gandhi was wearing his dhoti and shawl with a stick. So these people thought he was an untouchable person, low caste people. That is why they did not permit Gandhi and Rajkumar Shukla did not permit to enter the house. That is why those servants asked them to stay outside. And those servants of Rajendra Prasad did not permit Gandhi to take water from the well. The reason, do you know? They considered Gandhi as an untouchable. Untouchable. If Gandhi touches the bucket, and from that bucket, if some water falls into the well, they thought that the whole water of the well will be untouchable. You see? The social injustice of untouchability, social inequality, racialism. You see, racialism, untouchably, racialism, 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 untouchability, social inequality, 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 injustice, all these are suitable here. Injustice are reflected in untouchability. So these servants of Rajendra Prasad considered Gandhi together with Rajkumar Shukla as low caste yeomen, farmers. They were considered as untouchables. That is why Gandhi was not permitted to get water from the well. Clear now? The rest we will see in the next class. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.